No, it's a slow-speed chase, guys. The very first vehicle, those red, well, there's a lot of flashing lights, and this guy might be trying to slow me down, this state or this county police officer. They are chasing. All these vehicles are chasing the ambulance, which is the very first vehicle up there, and he's got like several tires blown out. I understand they put down those strips in the road, but he is still moving. It's a burly guy. I saw him just before you came to us, right when Kevin was wrapping up. They all passed us. We pulled a U-turn down there, and now we're following it. We're the first civilian vehicle in this pursuit here, and you can see this county police officer trying to kind of keep us back a little bit. But all these police officers, all those flashing lights you see, are now headed northbound on Indian Head Highway from Charles County up toward Prince George's County, and they are following the ambulance, which again, I don't know if it has any tires that still have rubber on them. The wheels were on the road. It went right past us right before you came to us. And like I said, now we've pulled a U-turn, and some of these officers here have stopped in the road. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the pursuit or what have you. But the ambulance, and as you're mentioning, no patients on it, on board, was stolen from Prince George's Hospital Center up in Cheverly and headed south. And then it got down into Charles County and pulled a U-turn and is now heading north. And it's a slow-speed pursuit, and we've got Fire County, Highway Patrol, you've got Prince George's, Charles County authorities involved. I see a helicopter up above it, and now they're starting to pick up speed again. And I'm just going to, until they do anything to try to stop us, we're going to stay with them. And like I said, we're the very first of the civilian vehicles here in this pursuit. Others are pulling over. We're just going to keep going. And I don't know if Doug Wilkes is manning the camera here, but I don't know. I'm going to try to get in between so he can see past the car in front of it. I don't know if you see all those lights, Doug, way, way up there. That is the slow speed pursuit, and this guy's trying to tell me to get in my lane. But yeah, it's a slow speed pursuit way up there, guys, heading north back toward Prince George's County here with a stolen ambulance, no tires, and a guy eluding the authorities at this point. That's true, and I did not see any kind of lights and sirens, any law enforcement vehicle ahead of the ambulance, like in a sense protecting people who were up in front of it from maybe this ambulance turning into the southbound lanes or crossing an intersection against a traffic light. So no, all I saw was a bunch of lights coming right at us right before you came to us, and the ambulance was in the front. And as you see, there are cars coming southbound on Indian Head Highway here. Of course, this line of police cars in front of us, and they appear to be mainly Prince George's County police officers, are keeping anybody like ourselves and the rest of the civilians behind us from getting up ahead of them and closer to the ambulance as it's heading north here on Indian Head Highway. But the southbound lanes are still open at this point. Oh, boy. Yeah, we're heading back north. I honestly can't tell, and I don't want to look at my phone to see, but we were on our way to Accokeek, but we didn't get that far. On our way to Accokeek, the ambulance went right by us with this whole, bunch of police cars. Now, the ambulance up ahead is circling, so I'm wondering if there's a reason for that, either just following it or if it stopped. But we're, kind of in the Oxon Hill area, I would say is the best way to put it, and heading north again. And we're getting up to an intersection here where we have a red light, but you see all the lights are still going there. And I don't know if they've stopped. And I'm not going to go through the red light with these guys, but I want to try to keep up with them if we can. But you see all the lights are still way up there. Yes. Oh, it absolutely is. And maybe ahead they are blocking intersections, but when that whole pursuit past us, they had not done that yet. It was just, a slow speed pursuit northbound with nobody ahead of them. And you can see, I don't know is it looking pretty good, Doug?
Yeah.
I can't see what Doug is seeing through the lens.
Stopped down there, yeah.
Doug thinks that maybe things have stopped down there. So as soon as we get a green light here, we're going to try to catch up to it. So if you'd like, stay with us because we're not that far behind it, but we got to wait for a green light. Yeah, so stay with us, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I will say there is a divided highway here. So there is, there are guardrails, a median strip. So there is separation between anybody who's coming southbound now on Indian Head Highway and those of us heading north as we hit a bit of traffic here. And, I don't want to be but I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to come up here since we've been following these guys and just kind of pass on the right a little bit here and see how close we can get to see if, in case this thing has stopped. But I don't see, and maybe it's turned because I don't see a bunch of flashing lights still going north on Indian Head Highway. Perhaps, I don't know if it's turned off here. I do see, I don't know which way to go, frankly, because I know, and I'm, you know what, we're going too. Yeah, we're going to go too. I hate to tell you guys, right into the sun. Sorry, but Doug, would you lean back a smidge? I just want to, yeah. Well, and this is not good. Yeah, and there's a school bus that stopped here with its red lights on, and the police have just passed it. I'm not obviously going to pass that school bus, but yeah. So I'm pretty sure it went this way, guys, because another squad car with lights on is coming past us here in a second. But it's yeah. Yeah. Yes. And let me do a little. Okay, and let me do this, guys, because I'm talking to you. I'm not able to talk to our producers. Doug Wilkes was photographed that as it came by us, and I know our people in-house recorded it. So if there's a way they can turn that around, I know there's tape in-house of what we saw going past us, and if you can turn that around, let me know in my ear, and we can tell you what it was. And what it was this Prince George's County ambulance, I'm assuming a fire department ambulance, heading north on Indian Head Highway with a man in the driver's seat, a big burly looking guy in the driver's seat, no tires on the wheels as it was slowly being pursued by a bunch of police cars with lights and sirens coming past us north on Indian Head Highway. It's an ambulance that was stolen at Prince George's Hospital Center in Cheverly and was taken southbound on Indian Head Highway into Charles County. At some point, the driver pulled a U-turn and started coming back northbound on Indian Head Highway. We understand my colleague Lauren DeMarco is in touch with some of her law enforcement sources. She's the one who told me that they laid out these strips in the street that have spikes in them, and that's how the treads on the tires of the ambulance were destroyed. But it didn't stop the guy. It slowed him down, obviously, but didn't stop him. And then they passed northbound on Indian Head Highway as we were heading southbound to meet up with them. And again, we shot that video right as Kevin was talking there at about, what was it, 6:54 or something, and then pulled the U-turn, and that's when you joined us. So I think if our people can be on it, that there should be, and I'm seeing smoking rubber in the street. I'm seeing smoking rubber in the street and smelling it. So I think this ambulance is still shedding parts of its tires. And so there should be video in-house that you'll see at some point of what we saw, which was a heck of a sight. All these lights coming northbound as police from Charles and Prince George's counties pursue this stolen ambulance. And we are now, with some other cars and a Prince George's County police car, we are now eastbound on a road, and I honestly have no idea what this road is, but it's off Indian Head Highway in the Oxon Hill area. Yeah, guys. So, and I'm smelling the rubber. Absolutely, and you can't smell it clearly, but I can smell the rubber. And we got someone's trying to pass us here now. Lights and siren behind us here. It's a fire type official. So yeah, there is rubber, bits of rubber, and we're talking miles ago. The rumble strips or whatever they're called were laid out on the street. So it's an ongoing process of this ambulance losing its rubber, and so I'm assuming at some point it's going to stop. Yeah. Do you know this is Palmer Road?
No, I'm looking.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Frankly, I have not looked at a sign. Yeah, but if you tell me we're on Palmer Road, I'll believe you, because I haven't. Frankly, I haven't even looked to see a sign yet. And unfortunately, I don't know if you're seeing what we're seeing, which is as we're heading east, we're looking right into the sun and doing the best we can to document what we're seeing here. And I'm going to see a street sign here in a second. No, we are on Tucker Road. Is the road we're on? We're on Tucker Road. So let's see where this goes. And you know what? There's still flashing lights ahead of us. We are going. No, we're going 40 miles an hour, and I see the helicopter. It's quite a bit ahead of us. So, and you know, we're just kind of flowing with one other car here, two other cars, and we're approaching an intersection here, and because of where the helicopter is, we're still going to go straight. And we're now passing, looks like Rock Road, and I don't know that it's turned off here. We're gonna keep going straight. Unfortunately, we've kind of gotten behind, and I can't speed through these neighborhood streets. I see there are kids waiting for school buses, so we want to be smart about this. But we've kind of lost them a little bit, but we're heading in the right direction, I am almost sure. And let me know, guys, when I hope soon they can turn around the video, which was fairly dramatic. And I called in to the producer and said, sorry to interrupt Kevin, but you might want to come to us right now. And when you joined us, they had just passed us. Okay, so take a look at this, guys. All right, why don't you guys describe it, because I can't see what you're looking at. Exactly, and yeah, and the helicopter is right above our road, way ahead of us. You know, I can't judge the distance, but maybe a half mile ahead of us, right above the road we are on, which I believe is this Tucker Road, heading due east, I guess toward National Harbor. But that was the sight we saw, guys, and I was like, oh my goodness, look at this, because we had heard it was turning around and heading back toward us, but when you actually see all those lights and you realize what you're looking at, rather dramatic. I know, and he was going, yeah, he was going rather slowly, heading north on Indian Head Highway. And I could see the driver. He had like a dark blue, it looked like a dark blue or black t-shirt, a kind of a big burly guy, and I could not see any expression on his face, but he was just manning the wheel and doing his thing. Well, yes, and why he's fleeing, why he needed the ambulance of all things, maybe a mental health issue there. And the other thing is, this was a person who stole the ambulance at the hospital. So you wonder why this person was at the hospital. Was he a patient? Was he visiting someone there? An employee? You know, this person was at the hospital for some reason early this morning before deciding to jump in the ambulance and heading toward Charles County. now back north into Prince George's, and now eastbound somewhere in this Oxon Hill area. Okay. Yeah, yeah. And I honestly wish this is the time, you know, we have interns all the time. It'd be great to have an intern in the back seat navigating, because I'm driving, Doug's shooting, and we're just, you know, it's tough to, neither of us can really be flipping through a map or looking at GPS on our phones. So when we approach Allentown Road, we will head north on it. But at this point, guys, we're just trying to catch up to what we saw and what you're showing our viewers there. Absolutely. Sometime in the 6 o'clock hour, we got word of it. Our colleague Lauren DeMarco, the first to alert us to the fact that an ambulance had been stolen at Prince George's Hospital Center. Not a private ambulance, but a Prince George's County ambulance had been stolen at Prince George's Hospital Center in the early part of the 6 o'clock hour, and that the report we got was that it was southbound on Indian Head Highway heading toward Charles County. At about 6:30, we were frankly on our way to a different story. Kenny Martin on our assignment desk said, head south. We were coming down toward southeast DC. He said, this was around 6:30, head toward Charles County on Indian Head Highway. And it was at about 6:54, I looked at the clock here, Doug Wilkes and I had switched places. He got the camera on, I got behind the wheel. We figured, let's pursue this thing as we're heading south on Indian Head Highway. And that's when all of a sudden we heard from Lauren DeMarco that they were turned around, supposedly heading back north on Indian Head Highway with perhaps some damage to the ambulance's tires. And right around that time, sure enough, we're in the car heading south again, and there came this sight that you're seeing, Doug Wilkes rolling on it, our folks back at the station recording it, and that's when, at that intersection there, we pulled the U-turn and started following the emergency vehicles, primarily Prince George's County police officers, northbound back up Indian Head Highway. And now this pursuit is somewhere else here in Prince George's County, and we're almost directly below the helicopter. So we are still east. We are actually, guys, I don't know how it happened, but we are on Allentown Road. So, and this, I'll tell you what, Doug, if you can look out here, the helicopter is circling and it's fairly low here now, killing Doug Wilkes' back and shoulders here, but doing great work, Doug. There's the helicopter, guys, and I see flashing lights now, so I think, do not leave us, because I think we're, yeah, guys, I don't know if you see past us. Yeah, see that past us? We've caught up to all the lights. So we've just been heading to where we thought we should, and I think we're going to catch up to it. And you see the helicopters flying right over the road. And yeah, guys, these flashing lights are not moving anymore, so I think this pursuit is over, and we are going to do our darndest to get up to it, even if we have to drive across someone's front yard here in a minute, and we'll pay for it later. But we're going to do what we can. We're kind of squeezed here, but I think if we get past this next intersection, we'll be in good shape. I will say I do see flashing lights that may have blocked it. Let me see if this guy will let us go in front of him. Hold on. I don't know if you can see through all this, but there are flashing lights there. Yeah. The suspect's in. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see through all that? You know what, guys? If you want to bear with us, this is some business here. I'm going to pull in here before we get stuck. Doug, I'm going to take his seatbelt off, and we're going to just stay with us, guys, because we're going to walk up there, if you don't mind, and we're going to see what we see if you want to hang with us. Hang with us a second, guys. Yeah, not in the car. Yep, we're gonna walk up there, guys. So bear with us. All right, you're gonna see a few different things this weekend. Yeah. We're fine. They're doing the video. Get it on your back. that?
No, I don't want to shoot the sun in your way.
Let's get ahead of you. Hey, we're on live TV. Can we just get ahead of you?
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Want to show it? Yep. Do. They're going to come back to us. Don't, not in the sun. Try to show the light. Okay, guys. So we're approaching it right now. We don't let this guy go, but we're going to be there in just a second here. Of course, we're looking right into the sun, but give us a second. We're walking up. We'll see what we see. Come on, Doug. I see, yeah, we're seeing a bunch of cars that have just kind of lined up here, 2 or 3 across, stopped, some up on the grass. They're blocking, this is Allentown Road at Allentown Way. And, hey, can we just go to the corner right here?
Yeah, just the corner.
Thank you, all right. They're just saying, go to the corner. We understand the guy's in custody?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. All right, guys, so I don't know if you can see right across the, they're asking us to stay right here. I do see the ambulance, guys. The ambulance's lights are not flashing. It's the square right above all the flashing lights you see there, which are these police cruisers. And, right, so there's the ambulance in the front. Stop there almost at, it looks like it's Route 5. That overpass there is Route 5, and this is Allentown Road. You see the police? Let me see if I can get one. Sir, can we just cross this and go right to where that gentleman is? Would that be all right? Just to help our viewers see, okay? All right, thank you. I want to see if we just cross this street just to get a little closer. But we understand the driver is in custody. There was never a patient or another person, apparently, in now what you're describing as a Landover Hills ambulance. But Allentown Road, both directions. This pursuit was heading eastbound, but both directions here, Allentown Road and Allentown Way, are closed. And I'm going to see if they'll let us just, you know what, we'll beg forgiveness as opposed to ask for permission. Come on, Doug. We're just going to go across this here, just up to the yellow tape here. And just let you see. Hold on a second here, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So here, a little better with the shaded, you can see the ambulance straight up there, a whole long line, and it's passenger side door is open. It looks like the back doors are open as well. I don't know if you see anybody in custody. I'm looking to see if we see anybody in cuffs or anything there. No, I don't see anybody in custody. I see a lot of police officers here. And again, these are, I see State Trooper, Prince George's County Police, Park Police, and at one point this involved Charles County Police as well. But that overpass right above there is Route 5. This is Allentown Road. And this pursuit, guys, which, as you mentioned, started right around 6 o'clock and it is now 7:20, appears to be over with the man who allegedly stole the ambulance up at Prince George's Hospital Center, now in custody, and a lot of flashing lights here on Allentown Road as this slow 2-3 one-wheeled pursuit has ended this morning right in the middle of rush hour. Yeah, right. Are you looking at tape or a live picture? Is that a live picture you're looking at? Okay. Yeah, because I can't see, this is as far as we're going to get, unfortunately. I can't see anybody in custody. I don't see anybody sitting on the ground with their hands behind their backs. Perhaps this person's already in a squad car, but I'm looking all around. Now, part of our view from here is blocked by all the police vehicles between us and the ambulance. Do you see anybody sitting on the ground or? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm now about probably 50 feet to the left of our camera and Doug Wilkes, our photographer, in the middle of Allentown Road, kind of scanning to see with my eyes if I see anybody who appears to be in custody. I do see a lot of police, obviously, as you see, as well, and a lot of flashing lights and squad cars. I don't see any of the people who appears to be in custody. So the guy's here. I'm sure they've caught him, but I just don't know if he's sitting in a squad car or what, because I just cannot see the person who was driving, who we got a glimpse of way back south on Indian Head Highway as he drove past us, being pursued by all these police officers. I don't see that person, or who appeared to be that person, or anybody at this point in cuffs, but we got to believe that they have apprehended this person, and perhaps it was finally as they were approaching Route 5 and perhaps concerned that he was going to get on another busy roadway, that they put that squad car in front of him to stop him that way, because otherwise, I mean, he was seemed to be having no intent to giving up. I mean, even though he had really like almost no tires, that he wasn't going to stop. So I'm curious how they actually finally got him to stop and into custody and off the road. Yeah. Just go look down the road. Come on. Yeah. You're still hot. Absolutely. I think because the ambulance couldn't go any faster without losing control. So yes, it was a slow speed pursuit, but you know, the tape that we've been able to show you is what we first saw as we were heading south, still knowing that this ambulance, after going south on Indian Head Highway into Charles County, had turned around and was coming back north on Indian Head Highway back into Prince George's County with its tires, some of its tires blown out. When we saw all those flashing lights, I could tell it was not a fast-moving pursuit. One of the more dramatic ones I've seen, and I don't think the guy could have gotten any faster, but he was able to, as we were coming north on Indian Head Highway, make that right on, I guess, Tucker Lane or something, and eventually it becomes Indian Head Highway, because we never made another turn. Frankly, we just kept following, you know, the direction of the helicopter ahead of us, and ending up here on Allentown Road, near Route 5, and I just see there's an ambulance, a second ambulance has just pulled up, so I'm wondering if the person who was driving has some obvious issues, and after talking to this person, they're going to take him back to the hospital, either Prince George's Hospital Center or somewhere else, for more observation. But a second ambulance, as you see from our vantage point, I could see just pulling off to the right there, just beyond the ambulance that was stolen in not a hot pursuit, maybe a warm pursuit this morning. And you see all the police vehicles here. So anybody heading this way for their part of their morning commute, Allentown Road is closed in both directions near Route 5, and may be for a bit. Yeah.
One of us go across the street.
What's that?
One of us go back to where I was.
Yeah, come on. Yep, let's do it. You're hot. Just consider you're hot. Yeah, good point, because they might move someone over there. Yeah, there's a stretcher. Yeah, and as we were following this pursuit, Steve and Allison, you could smell the burning rubber, and you could see bits of smoldering, and I'm not kidding, smoldering little chunks of rubber in the roadway. What you're looking at now, that second ambulance, it's a Prince George's County ambulance, did show up. They actually pulled a stretcher out of that. So I would imagine fairly soon here, we're going to see the stretcher head back toward that ambulance with who I would imagine would be the person who was driving the allegedly stolen ambulance this morning. We can't see that person now. We see a lot of police officers kind of in an area together, like one or two cars back from that ambulance. But there is a stretcher out, and nobody has talked to us yet. I think they're all still just kind of getting here and figuring out what's going on themselves. So there's really nobody who can give me any official information. But I'm assuming that the stretcher that left the second ambulance that just showed up here is soon going to go back to that ambulance with the person who was driving the allegedly stolen ambulance strapped down and heading back to either Prince George's Hospital Center where this all started or to another hospital for some kind of either checkup, observation, or treatment, depending on that person's condition. But when they drove past us northbound on Indian Head Highway as we were southbound, heading toward Akakeek, the driver seemed to be fully in command behind the wheel there, sitting up, a big burly guy, sitting up behind the wheel of the apparently stolen ambulance. And yet now, as this thing has ended, at least for now, here on Allentown Road near Branch Ave, Route 5, this person appears to be heading back to the hospital for whatever reason. And if you stay with us, or if the Skyfox picture can show it as well, we should see this person in a stretcher pretty soon here. Because you got to believe that's who they're taking away. Yeah, perhaps there were weapons drawn and, strong encouragement given to either get him out or pull him out. So perhaps in the quote-unquote takedown, if that's how it ended, this person might have gotten hurt. But again, interesting, and, it'll be interesting to know later today what all this actually is about and who this person is and why he allegedly stole the ambulance. Curious why he was at the hospital in the first place. Was he a patient? Was he a staff member? Was he a family member of a patient? There had to have been some reason for this person to be there at the hospital. Who knows? It could turn out that he was brought to the hospital in an ambulance and decided to take it away. So we just don't know. Yeah, exactly. So we just don't know. But stay with us if you will, because I think very soon here we're going to see a gurney head back to the second ambulance that has arrived on the scene here with more than likely the person who was driving the allegedly stolen ambulance strapped down and heading back to the hospital. Yeah. Again, what we're told is this was just a few minutes after 6 that the ambulance was stolen from Prince George's Hospital Center with just the person driving. No patient, no staff, no paramedic or EMT, nobody else in the ambulance. And from Cheverly, from Prince George's Hospital Center, was driven south down into Charles County along Indian Head Highway. And at some point before 6:54, the driver had pulled a U-turn, started heading north, and at some point, whether he was either heading southbound or making the U-turn or heading back northbound on Indian Head Highway, police had put down these like rumble strips, basically destroying almost all of the tires on this ambulance, which clearly slowed him down, because we were told initially he was maybe driving at 50 or 60 miles an hour, and initially we were told that the lights and sirens on that stolen ambulance were on. But when it passed us, I haven't seen the video again. I saw it as it was happening. I can't recall if the lights they're on. Okay, because they're off now. They're off now, but they were okay. So they were still on, and he was going very slowly at that point because the tires had been blown out. And headed north. This was just before 7 o'clock, so 6:55 a.m. heading north. got up to, well into Prince George's County and turned right, I guess what was on Tucker Road. Somehow it's become Allentown Road because no other turn off of that road that he turned off of Indiana Highway onto was made, and kept going, heading toward Branch Ave. We're right here in Camp Springs, and this pursuit ended just maybe a quarter mile before the entrance ramps to north and southbound Route 5 here in Camp Springs on Allentown Road. And
There he is.
what's that? There he is? Okay, here he is. Yep. There he is. Yep. Doug Wilt saying there he is. Let's just see what we see here. This guy is going into, what do you see? Probably better than I do. Is he sitting up?
Yep.
Ah, okay. Ah,
That's it.
sure. Well, I apologize to him because, yeah, the way that seat was. I mean, maybe it's just, and I've been in ambulances before doing stories. It just that he was up high. He seemed to be perched up high in the cab of the ambulance, and that's what made him look like a big bulky figure because maybe the seats just jacked up quite there, and he was just kind of leaning into the steering wheel and driving past us as I was driving south and watching and just shaking my head. So that was my quick. Look at it. I just want to ask Doug, who could, through the viewfinder, see better than I could. What did he look like? What did you see?
I was really looking more at the blown out tires. I didn't really concentrate on him. Once I saw him, had it, I went down to the tires to show that they were blown out.
Sure. And then just as he's being put into the ambulance here, they're saying he looked
he
more
was
of a
sitting
slight...
up. He had his shirt off, so he might have had a bulky something on when you saw him. And he wasn't wearing a shirt, I don't think, when you put him in an ambulance.
Okay, and that's Doug Wiltz, our longtime stellar news photographer here, who is going to get a nice cup of coffee and a beer later today for shooting this off his shoulder for the last 40 minutes. This guy had to have been handcuffed just then, I'm thinking, as he was put into the ambulance, since he's clearly a flight risk because he was, in a allegedly stolen ambulance, leading police on a slow-speed pursuit for almost an hour plus. I got to believe he was sitting up, but probably handcuffed as he went into this ambulance, which is still here, and obviously soon heading back to the hospital for some kind of observation as this stolen ambulance caper ends here on Allentown Road in Camp Springs with probably a lot of relieved people, because I'm pretty sure, guys, we followed the exact path of this pursuit, and I didn't see any other vehicles impacted, like run off the road or crashed into. We did see at one point, and we were at that point a bit behind the pursuit, a school bus with its, the red lights flashing and the stop signs out, picking up kids at a bus stop, and a police cruiser of some sort with flashing lights did pass. A couple of civilian cars that were in front of us stopped as we did, and I think that put a little bit of distance between us. But it appears, at least from my vantage point of following this whole thing up, that nobody else adversely impacted physically from this pursuit. That it's just as the ambulance gets ready to take this guy back to the hospital, to a hospital, whether it's Prince George's Hospital Center in Cheverly or not, that he's the only one who's needing some kind of medical attention this morning because of this. Yeah. And I'll tell you guys. Okay. No, I was just going to say that the Prince George's County Police Chief, Hank Stawinski, is usually right on these places. He may be here. He's usually very good about telling us what he knows, when he knows it. And so if I see him, we'll flag him over and have him, as best he can, tell us what he knows that our pictures aren't telling us about what happened here this morning. You're off. Give your shoulder a break. Way to go, Doug. Jeez. Want to just like lay down and give it a shot? If they need to take it before you are back, you just prop up something down the middle. I'll watch. I'll stay with it. Okay. How about Doug? Come here. How about right through here? You can.
Well, no.
See that.
Cars coming and going.
I'll move it if I have to. This might be something for him. Oh, Jesus. Crazy. Oh, I didn't dynamite. Fuck. Man, thank God, right? Just in time. Thank you, Doug. Bye-bye. Hey, Sarah, Bob Barker here. Hey, just to let you know, Doug Wilkes has stepped away from the camera. We put it on the ground here so you still have a shot, but he's going to get his tripod. So, just keep in mind, you can come to this shot and I can talk to you, but he's not here at the moment, okay? Thanks, Doug. Irene. No, just do what we can. Thanks, Irene. You don't think they put a car in front of it to stop it? Hey, Kenny, Bob here. Hey, if you have a way to reach Chief Stawinski, tell him we're here at Allentown Way. If there's a way, I don't see him here, and nobody's. Yep, we're here. We're right here. Good. Thank you. Thanks. Max, Bob Barker here. Thank you. Hey, so I know they have the VO of the ambulance passing us. So they have that as a VO. See if they can cut a quick VO of him being put in the other ambulance on the stretcher. So I'm assuming at 8 o'clock if they want to come to me, I want to show. Here's what we saw. We show the scene now, the VO of the ambulance passing our car and all that stuff being chased. And then the VO of the guy getting put in the ambulance on the stretcher. All right? Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Kenny, Bob here. Hey, the Lynn producer is not still in the house, is she? Who's producing the 6 a.m. Lynn, the producer. Can I speak to her? Thanks. Hey, Lynn, it's Bob Barker calling. Sorry for screaming at you like that, but I'm hearing the show, I'm hearing Kevin, and I'm seeing a sight that you rarely see when you're on live TV. And I just was like, get it out! What? That was going on. Jeez. Oh my God, sorry about that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, there it is. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, you've got to come to us. Right, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, here it comes. And it, you know, it was the cavalry. And there was the ambulance. And I'm like, oh my God. So that's why I called quickly as I'm driving. Oh my God. Oh my God, what's going on? So yeah. And then I was going to call. I heard the ambulance announcers were talking over my video. I'm sitting here like, Thank you so much. All right, guys. Being told we actually are still live on Facebook here. So we just put the camera down for a minute so we can get our gear together. We've just been on live for the last, almost the last hour. So. I've done it once. Let's get. Here, let's just be. Guys, so if you're watching us Facebook, we are still here. Thank you for the Mike Douglas. We're still here on Allentown Road in Camp Springs. So we're not on live TV, but we are on Facebook. So folks, yeah, we are here, still with you. This is basically the middle of Allentown Road, just west of Branch Ave, and this is this crazy scene here just south of DC this morning where a man stole an ambulance at a hospital and leading police on a very slow speed chase with most of the rubber on his tires blown out by police and put rumble strips in the street. Somehow he was brought to a stop here. We're not sure if it was the police car that apparently I can't see from behind, but our helicopter shot showed from above that there is a police car in front of the ambulance. Perhaps that police car stopped the ambulance finally, but the passenger side door was open. Hey, they may be moving that ambulance and they just closed the passenger side door, and the back doors are now closed. So they may be moving that thing off the street. Yeah, and so we ended here in the eastbound lanes of Allentown Road, just west of Branch Avenue. That's the overpass of Branch Avenue. And the man was put on a gurney and put into a second ambulance that had been brought here and taken away, obviously for treatment or observation. perhaps back to Prince George's Hospital Center. But he had stolen this thing just after 6 this morning, was headed southbound on Route 210, which is Indian Head Highway. We believe he got into Charles County from here in Prince George's County. At some point, doubled back, was heading north on Indian Head Highway, and then turned east on what became Allentown Road and ended here. So we're going to probably go back on air here in about 10 minutes or so, but keep this shot up here on Facebook as you see the aftermath of this. Yep, and a tow truck just pulling up. This interesting situation here. This is what they've told us this is the command post. Thanks, sorry, man. Thanks for on live TV and I'm like, I did. Please get in front of you. That's Friday. Yes. How are you doing? Hanging in there. I guess I do owe you a beer or something. Yeah, you owe. I told our source. I heard that. I heard you get back. You have witnesses. I have witnesses. So as long as you guys know.
Press for an 8. Is that what it's saying? Yeah. Press for an 8.
They said right here. They said 6339. They're saying right here.
It's kind of 15.
But the lights on, I really just turned them out.
Why don't you just fucking I think we're here at 8:30. We'll be ready with the lunch maybe.
So where do you want, when we go on at 8, should I be like kind of over here? Just have a little sun on my face and then you pan off me?
What are the odds when you're talking and doing it over that way?
Well, we could. You want to take a look? Why don't you walk over there and take a look? See if you think that would be, because then we'd see the ambulance better. You want to see? Just maybe on the other, see where those guys are standing right there? Those guys. You want to see? I'll stay here. Oops. Sorry, guys.
What direction are you coming from? What route are you taking down here?
Okay, I don't see that, but that's good if she's got that perspective. And Matt, tell me if you hear me. Matt, let me know if you hear me. Matt, you do hear me. Okay, he's got it, hopefully. So Matt, I had Megan cutting VO of the ambulance passing us initially, and then the guy getting put into the ambulance. What do you think, Doug? Is it worth going over there?
Not without setting it up with somebody in the police department first.
Why? Is it you
Well,
can't-
officially, it's beyond the police tape. Number one,
What's it? This
they're
is not
getting
on Facebook.
they're
What's
set
that?
up for live.
What's that?
Allentown Road.
Is it a better just for lighting purposes?
Yes, and a background.
So let's. Why don't we just go there? What do
I'm
you
talking
say?
about over there by the sun.
Oh, I don't think we can go further up.
That's what I'm talking
But
about.
what about over there? Is no better? Okay.
Fuck it, just do it here.
Let's just do it here. Doug, this is picking up everything. Just. Am I okay like this?
You're tiny enough.
They may come to your shot anytime, and it's on Facebook. Just let you know. Can you see the ambulance from your perspective, Doug? You still be able to see it?
I see the back end. I see what you see.
Because Annie's on the other side. They're going to come to us first, and then her.
All right. Sheriff's call. Watch your back there, Bob.
Yep. Yes. Yes, I can, Matt. Hello. Yes. Yeah. And I asked Megan to cut 2 VOs for us. Megan's going to cut a VO of the ambulance going past our camera. Maybe show it a couple times. I don't know. And then the second VO is when this guy was being put into the ambulance himself. So those are the 2 VOs we'll have. And we'll be here at the scene, tell you what I know, and then I'll toss to Annie. Yeah, so she could talk about that. Yeah, Annie, you see on the other side stuff that may have helped to lead to the end of this thing. That sounds good. You bet. Yep. They want me in front of the camera.
All right, move Gordon.
No, he is not. He is not. Not yet. They want me in for $2. What's up? Yay?
How soon?
Like within a minute or so. I'll hold this down if I have to. Yeah, we don't see the chief. We're waiting. Expect to hear from the chief at some. So just to start off, and when I start talking, you can go down there and don't ever come back. You know what I mean.
Heard that.
Come back at some point. And you got a lot of people standing there. Earlier there was a man walked his 2 little kids across the street. Okay, stand. Here we go. Standing by in the 2 box. Less than a minute till a double box, and then I'm good.
Move that way, just to the. There you go.
What's wrong? Anything? They're coming to us here in a second.
Nothing.
30 to the double box, and then me, and then we're tossing to Annie. Yeah, guys, that was quite a scene this morning. The video of that ambulance coming north on Indian Head Highway from Charles County into Prince George's County here. Still quite a scene here as well. This is Allentown Road. We are just east of Branch Avenue. The overpass in the distance is Branch Avenue. Just over the police flashing lights from the state trooper. There are also Prince George's County police cruisers here. You see the ambulance. That was stolen this morning. Its lights and sirens are now off. It was stolen just after 6 o'clock this morning. We are told by just a man who got in and took off. Nobody else inside, no paramedics or EMTs. The crew from Landover Hills, the Prince George's County ambulance here, no patients or anything. Just this one person who then stole this ambulance and headed south, we are told, on Indian Head Highway, got into Charles County, and then pulled a U-turn and came back north on Indian Head Highway, back into Prince George's County. At some point, police in pursuit had put down some rumble strips which shredded one or more of the tires on this ambulance. And that's when we then saw it coming north past us in hot pursuit at a slow speed by a number of police cruisers. The stolen ambulance then came north, eventually got eastbound here on Allentown Road and was stopped just before it could get to Branch Avenue. The other video clip we have is of the driver eventually put onto a gurney and taken into another ambulance that was sent here to take this person back in for either treatment or observation to a hospital. We're not sure if he's going back to Prince George's Hospital Center, but he had his shirt off, was kind of sitting up in the gurney, so it didn't appear that he was injured. And nobody else was. We passed school buses at bus stops with red lights flashing and the stop signals out, and other cars in the morning commute. But from our vantage point, following this thing all the way up from Charles County back into Prince George's County, we did not see any other vehicles or people that looked like they were hit or impacted other than for an inconvenience this morning during the morning commute. The ambulance was eventually stopped here on Allentown Road in Camp Springs. On the other side of the ambulance, closer to Branch Avenue, is my colleague Annie Yu, who can tell us more from her vantage point there. Annie, good morning.
You're the man, Bob, for that whole time.
You know what?
I'm happy to. When you're online, but then they call from my guy. There's a video of that in the house. It's right in China. I don't know if they knew it, but they're doing it all over there. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm hearing it. Like, you hear the sirens and stuff. I called them, and then I shut them down. That's what I went to instead of the time. Oh, that's fine. If you do over again, I'm going to go in and drive. No. That's odd to see that. It's too bad because we were right with them. Till the end. You can see the school bus was stopping. What's way on the Walker Road? I thought you had right there. Yeah, but I saw a couple of cars go. I'm like, I'm going this way. And Allison, and that you made the right call. I was in the scared. I'm like, I don't know if Bob's different. Well, and then the anchors, Allison was on the air, and she's like, yeah, I did see a couple of cars ahead of me, but I did see some go to the right. I said, yeah, we're going to the right. So the anchors helping direct the traffic. Yeah, they're going. Right. They want you to wipe that. They said they're off you.
Yes. You want this here? Dougie, I got white right here if you need.
You know what? I think I'm better off just manually.
Sure. Yeah, that cop car. You bet.
How does it
She
look
says
now?
it looks good. She said thank you. So.
I'd like to hear the replay of me talking to you. Yeah. I had talked to like, any chance like that. This place is really hard up there. See the top of 7. So I called her and she had no idea what I saw. And eventually saw the back called her right then. There's a big box. Picked it up. She's like, you just tell me I'm seeing it. It's like that option. I'm like, do it by that time. That was cool. 5, 6 to 5. Nice. Look at this. Have you seen this? From that. By 7, 15. Nice. In your first shot of it, you can see like just the whole cavalry following it. Let's go. We're probably going to drink. I don't think they're on again till whatever, but yeah, we're told 8:30. Oh, we're told 8:30? I told them. Yeah, well, I said 8. I want to see you. We take that with a badge of honor.
Thank you. Get y'all jazzed up. It's Christy Friday. What's up, dude? Those tires on that baby are long.
How appropriate. That was rude.
Like
No, you probably saw him about a mile back there. No, I lost weight a couple of years ago. And
Is that what I need to do to lose weight? Is stop working out? That ain't gonna happen. My body like that.
you're going to want to kick your spine like that. Like whenever it's too weird, you want to kick that line. Okay, yeah, it's a good, yeah. So right, so and I see him there. He's here. He's just way over there in the front. Yeah, just let Matt know that when he comes over here, I could probably stall because we'll probably be the only ones live on Channel 7's just getting here, so they could be live on Channel 8. So have him be ready to come and take us as soon as he walks over. Okay, just plant that seed. Or whenever. We were told 8:30, but if whenever he shows up, they got to be flexible and say, yeah, whoa, we're going to go to Bobby. Because I want to do them live and whatever. Hey, can you take a look? See,
Fred Kelly, our news director. No, we wouldn't have done that had our people back at the station been rolling on this. When I was actually shooting live pictures of the chase happening.
morning, huh? Start exercising.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me when you want. Sorry. Well, that's what we were told, and it was Kenny telling me, and I think I see the chief down there, but I don't see him heading this way. We'd love to get him live at 8:30, when he talks to everybody. But I haven't made communication with him, and the officers here are nice but playing dumb. Yeah, the ones that he come down here. So we're told he's coming down here. Yeah. Good. Okay, that's fine. Sure. Have those two VOs standing by. It looks like they're getting ready to tow this. Yeah, they're getting ready to tow this thing away. Yeah, come to us at 8:30. I'll tease that the chief's going to talk to us, and then when he comes back, we want to take him live, right? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you need to, but whatever. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
We'll go to mass, and he doesn't look the same way as me. He's like, I get 0 out of this. punching the clock. Will is more like, I'm Catholic, I should go to mass every Sunday. We're very split across the family. So,
Yeah, interesting. So we're going to go on at 8.
and Doug is the one who, when they changed the responses and they said that you should enter under my roof, you were the one who talked about it. And almost every single Sunday at mass, I think you should.
Wow.
Got it, thank you. For some reason, it just stuck with me that you were the one who didn't. All those changes were going on in the Catholic Church, and you told me you said it, and I was like, it stuck with me literally every Sunday. It's just sorry.
Ironic, because I've changed my mind on the whole thing.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Okay, great. 45 seconds.
They're probably going to move that soon.
Can you?
Do you mind coming out just so we're a little separated from them yapping away?
Small what you cook it.
Oh, they're taking it away right now. Shit, sorry. Not that that's the most compelling shot, but yeah, Ken.
Well, they're going to get it from down there.
Find out when the chief is coming. Okay, all right, they're taking the ambulance away right now. Maybe just get a
Take Ryzak shot.
What's that?
Hang on.
Okay, yeah, find out what Stawinski's deal is. Thank you. What if he's coming this way? He may come right past us. Yeah. Yep. They're gonna probably bump in with the shot, Doug. I won't jump in front of the camera. This thing may drive right past us, guys. This thing may drive right past us. Unless they're gonna leave it here and just wanted to get it off the road. They're wanting a live bump picture to bump in. Doug, I'll be here in case you want to send it.
Ryzak shot. He's right there.
Is he?
Yeah, that's right here.
Hey, Matt, do you hear me? Yeah. Hey, Doug thinks that Ryzak might have a better shot of that.
Ryzak is 2 feet
Ryzak
away
should be
from that
right
truck. next
next to that ambulance. If you want to get used to it, bump in with him, maybe. You want to do that? You want that? Doug will stay on it, but he thinks Ryzak's shot will be better
I'm
of that
looking
ambulance.
at Ryzak. Ryzak is standing next
Okay,
to
all
it.
right, yeah. So get in front of the camera. They want me, yeah. Okay, cool. They want me in front of the camera, and then they'll use Ryzak there. Sorry, Doug.
Got it. Yeah, no, Chief's not here yet.
And then you can pan over at some point. Once you start with me, they want me on. And then Ryzak shot. He's got it. Stand by. They're in a break. They're in front of it. He's coming right to us. Come on. Do tell us. How are you?
Good, sir. How you doing?
All righty, thanks.
So we have 8:30-ish.
Okay. Okay. All right, my senator, we're good. Scary. And hey, and do you guys have VO too? The VOs standing by? Yeah, the VOs.
And you know what? In order to save time, drive back the and drive back a right on
We're on live TV. 1 second.
Chanel, are you there? Chanel?
Yeah, it was a wild one, Steve, this morning. And Allentown Road appears to be getting ready to be cleared here. And as you take a look here, you see some Maryland State Police here on the scene. And that's Prince George's County Police Chief Hank Stawinski, who is walking toward us right now. And so we're waiting for an 8:30 a.m. update from him, and I think we're going to get it in a moment. But it appears that as the Maryland State Police conduct their investigation here, as you see right here in the middle of Allentown Road, that at some point soon this street will be reopened because, as you mentioned, they have taken the ambulance off the street onto a flatbed, and they're getting ready to take it out of here. This all started, we have video of this pursuit as it was coming northbound on Indian Head Highway from Charles County. This thing started just after 6 a.m. at Prince George's Hospital Center. Someone there stealing an ambulance, Prince George's County ambulance. We believe it's from Landover Hills. The ambulance was at Prince George's Hospital Center a little bit after 6, and a man got in it, started heading south on Indian Head Highway, got into Charles County, and then pulled a U-turn and started heading north. And at some point before it came into our view, the police had put these strips down on the road which shredded the tires, some of the tires of the ambulance. That did not stop the pursuit. It slowed it down, and there were some vehicles ahead, some police vehicles ahead, to try to make sure nobody got in the way and that anybody else collided with this northbound ambulance. And I've spoken to a couple of Prince George's County police officers who were given the heads up here, at least on Allentown Road, to block traffic as this pursuit was coming eastbound on Allentown Road toward Branch Avenue here, when it was eventually and finally stopped by some police cruisers that got in its way. The man behind the wheel was taken into custody, put on a stretcher, and we are told taken back to Prince George's Hospital Center. And the police chief here, who hopefully can shed some more light on who this person is and why that person was at the hospital in the first place to then get into the ambulance, what that was all about, hopefully will happen momentarily. And I know you guys want to take it back, but there is Chief Hank Stawinski, and he's heading this way. So you tell me if you guys could wait with me just for a minute. It looks like, yeah. So we're gonna stay for the chief here, who's walking here. You know which one he is, Doug. Here he's the white shirt and tie, heading right toward us, and we'll see if we can get. Hey, Chief, we're on live. Can you join us? Yep. Okay, here he comes. Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so didn't mean to yell at him, but did want him to know that we want to talk to him.
Come on, guys.
All right.
Guys, come back to us live.
Since we're already on, you can maybe repeat yourself, Chief. But hey, good morning.
Good morning.
What can you tell us about how this thing started? Who is this guy that he was at the hospital and able to get into this ambulance?
Okay, so what I know right now for the community, for everybody who may be watching, is that a gentleman by the name of William Person was admitted to the hospital last night. Prince George's County police officers discovered this gentleman in the overnight hours suffering from an apparent injury and acting very erratically. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. The hospital treated and discharged Mr. Person, and after he was discharged, he had access to an ambulance and took that ambulance. The Prince George's County Fire EMS, and I have Chief Barksdale with me today, immediately began tracking that. Various technologies we use to use computer-aided dispatch of those units were able to ascertain the location of it, and Prince George's County police officers immediately got behind that vehicle. That vehicle was traveling not at an outrageous rate of speed, but obviously was in the hands of someone that it should not be in. It was traveling towards Charles County, and our officers contacted members of the Charles County Sheriff's Office and let them know the situation that we had. They responded beautifully and immediately. At the line between Prince George's County and Charles County, they deployed stop sticks, which is a way to deflate tires to safely stop vehicles. That occurred, and over the course of about 15 to 20 minutes, the tires on this ambulance were deflated. Now, this is a big rig, and this has a real danger to the public, so it was important to slow these speeds down and to make this stop as quickly as possible. Despite that, Mr. Person continued to drive that ambulance with no tires, and this is creating sparks, it's creating fire, it's creating more chaos, and that ambulance makes its way back into Prince George's County. At that point, and I want to thank the Maryland State Police who are with me, and I have a lieutenant from the Charles County Sheriff's Office with me. Maryland State Police joined in with us and with Charles County, and we essentially created a pocket around that ambulance to prevent it from striking citizen vehicles and to prevent it from striking anybody who might be on the side of the roadway. Again, a very dangerous situation. The troopers, the sheriffs, and our officers handled this remarkably well. No one at the end of this was injured. As we're traveling down Allentown Road, that vehicle is again swerving but they are taking evasive maneuvers to try to slow that vehicle's progress. The idea was to deny it access back to Route 5. At the intersection, this first sergeant was actually clipped by that individual, at which point he took action to make that vehicle stop. Charles County Sheriff's officers, Prince George's County police officers then moved in and made apprehension. He is all right. He's being transported back to the hospital for treatment as a result of his apprehension. Minor injuries, I am told. He will be fine. But the story here is a tremendously good one about cooperation between Prince George's County, Charles County, and the Maryland State Police. How all of those officers acting in concert with one another brought this to a safe resolution. No injuries to the public. And quite frankly, without the assistance and support of my friend Ben Barksdale, the fire chief, we might not have known where this ambulance was, and this could have had a very different ending. So I have to also thank Chief Barksdale and the members of the Fire EMS Department for their help in bringing this to a swift resolution.
Chief,
Whose
this
ambulance
happened,
is it?
this happened at the height of rush hour. Talk about the challenges that posed as you were dealing with traffic on 210 and following and leading this ambulance.
Well, you couldn't be more correct. It began at 6 o'clock this morning, right as people were beginning their day in the busy traffic around the metropolitan area. And the principal concern of all of the officers and the leaders who were engaged in this is a large vehicle. It has a lot of weight, and if it collides, it can create a lot of damage. And that's why they created an insular pocket using those cruisers and controlling traffic. Officers were moving forward and blocking intersections as this thing was progressing. They were continually moving back and forth from the roadway to slow progress, and then slowing incrementally so that it's not a sudden stop, but a gradual stop. And it's in the process of that gradual stopping, again, preventing Mr. Person from accessing Route 5 up there, that he collided with the state police cruiser. The state police cruiser then turned into the vehicle to make sure it stopped. Charles County stopped, and we made an apprehension.
Chief Hank Stawinski, Police Chief Barksdale of the Fire Department. Can you tell us, Chief, whose ambulance that is and how it was able to be taken?
As far as how it was able to be taken, we're still investigating that, talking to the crews. The ambulance is from our Landover Hill station there on 450.
So is it a volunteer ambulance or no?
It's a career crew.
And nobody was on it, either the EMTs or a patient or anything at the time?
That is correct. No one was on the unit. The crews were inside. The patient that they had transported earlier were inside the hospital.
And Chief, did Mr. Person say where he wanted to go, why he was in a hurry to take an ambulance away from the hospital?
Well, the officers who were engaged in this pursuit were trying to get his attention to sort of bring him back to a frame of reference where he would stop at several points. And he's described as having that 1,000-yard stare. So he's non-communicative. And at this point, this is all under investigation. And as always, the public knows that when I have more facts, they will have more facts. But I just want to emphasize, this is a tremendously good story. This is law enforcement working across jurisdictions in concert to keep the public safe, as you pointed out, at the height of rush hour in the Washington, D.C. area. So while we did have some damage to one of our fire EMS apparatus, we have also brought this to a conclusion and made the public safe at a difficult time.
Chief, can we talk to the trooper real quick?
We're under investigation right now. There's a host of charges that we'll be looking at, but it also part of that's going to be back to his mindset, right? We, Prince George's County, brought him to the hospital suffering from some injuries and erratic behavior. So all of that's going to have to be assessed as we look at his culpability for these acts. But the important thing is that the public was made safe.
And Chief, can we talk to the trooper who helped to end this? Do you mind coming up here, sir?
First Sergeant is going to
Sergeant
define
shaking
that.
his head,
I'm
okay.
happy to speak for everybody as the ranking official on the scene.
All right, Chief, thank you very much. So that's don't trip, Doug. We're going to back out of here just a second, guys. Let's Chief Hank Stawinski of Prince George's County. Let's come around here, guys, and show you. Again, it looks like soon they're going to have Allentown Road cleared up here. You still have a lot of police vehicles here, but the ambulance is out of the roadway on the back of a flatbed truck. Mr. Person is back at Prince George's Hospital Center. The pursuit is over, and as you heard the police chief mention, Hank Stawinski here, that nobody else was apparently hurt, even the ramming vehicles from Charles County and the Maryland State Police. So guys, we're going to take a break here, but to tell you that soon, ideally, things will be back to normal here in Camp Springs, Maryland. Back after this. Thank you. You okay, sir? I was afraid Channel 4 was going to start saying, take us from the beginning. I figured let's cut our own road.
It would be.
Do you want to get a shot of the trooper, or did he walk away? Yeah, he walked. You rolling on that?
Yes.
Just the two of you.
That's the trooper walking down.
Yeah. That's him.
We're on. I can't get it out of here.
We immediately realized that ambulance was in the wrong hands, so our purpose fire was tracking it. One more technology. Our officers got behind it. As we evolved, we realized it was going to be headed towards Charles County. At that point, we contacted Charles County Sheriff's Office. They responded magnificently. They stood up and stopped the on it. Personally, we used to bring without damage to the vehicle, without harming the public, without that vehicle. Okay? Those tires were deflated as a result of that action, but this individual persisted in drove central arteries, created smoke, fire, and a lot of damage. Then we'll turn that ambulance around and get it back in the vehicle. At this point, Maryland State Police, Charles County Sheriff's Office, our office, are working in concert to slow this vehicle down. Stop it. It is a preliminary round. This is battling. The railroad's office is moving forward, watching traffic intersections, but we said because this is going to be a as he's traveling down Allentown Road, there was a decision made at this time to not have access back to Branch Avenue because that was only for practice. As we are slowing and moving in a way to deny him access, he strikes the Maryland State Police cruiser. That cruiser, not injured, but turns into their ambulance, and then the vehicles in front of that, creating a red light barrier, stop, and that vehicle is brought to a halt. Not an accident, nothing but acceleration. There are no injuries. That's the good part. He was apprehended. He's been taken back to the hospital. This person we expect will be fine. No police officers, sheriffs, deputies, or Maryland State Police users, and no members of the public were injured. That's my knowledge right now. So while this is a tough circumstance when you have an apparatus, we've done a tremendously good job of counseling one another to keep public safety during the rush hour. So several attempts were made to engage with the SUV driver. The way he characterized the lead by mom at the end of the phone was that he had 1,000 yards there. He was not responsive. He kept on driving. So they tried everything at various points. It went on for about an hour and a half before they could stop here. Even though what he was in the hospital. So a lot of questions remain for only about an hour and a half into this. But what I do know is that he was released from the hospital, so he admitted to going outside of the hospital. And then there's questions as to how he accessed that ambulance. But my partner, Marshall, is looking into those different things. I don't have answers for you. There's always a public service. And I have those answers for you. Divination, before you say, my heart, we believe he has a Temple Hills address, but again, we're early into this. That's a Rugen? Yes. Rugen person, age 43. There was only a gap of 15 minutes after the image pulled off. They began tracking our officers. Again, all that flows through our 159 so they were able to guide police officers and we got behind it long enough for us to realize what we were doing about the Charles County. And then that gave Charles County time to get going along with the second about it. That's not a lot. So it's Prince County Police beginning supporting the Department of Fire. We were then joined by Maryland State Police and Charles County officers. Again, my thanks to the Colonel of Maryland State Police, Sheriff of Charles County, and Charles County Sheriff's Office. Again, all working in concert with the Department of Prince County and Region Territory. But nobody was, and they were doing their level best to do it. These programs, they're called stop scripts. And essentially it's a script with some metal spikes, and when a vehicle travels over that, it deflates the tires. It doesn't puncture them, it doesn't make them explode, it just slowly deflates them. And that, of course, when the tire is deflated, you can't count it enough. Now going back to your question about this guy's friend of mine, he's not paying any attention to it, he's keeping on driving. And that's where a lot of the damage are after accidents is they keep driving on the road. Now, did he activate the lights? Yes. My understanding is that he did. I'm certain that they are, but again, we're 90 minutes into this investigation.
We got 92 minutes.
Again, when I have it, you'll have it. But yeah, I'm certain we've got lots of answers. It starts about 6:02 in the morning. About 6:02 is what I'm told. That's about 7:30.
And the new policy chief about taking it to 350.
What about the puppy on Casey?
So we all working with one another. Obviously, we are large people. The folks that work with the public and Christian standards and stuff, and they're not how that is. So again, all of that's under review, but that's an important.
There it goes, Doug.
All of these entities.
I'm sure you got it.
They all rule their own policies. But the focus of this is the end of the day, to keep public safety.
Yeah, he said, you know, there probably is.
I didn't know. Our office responsibility, but
Matt was
again, these are the active factors. So what the state of mind is, and so forth, we're going to have to have with the medical professionals. In the early morning hours, this will help him. He was with the
And is Chris still down there? My plan was to do the live story side. The chief is still here. I know your show's still 14 minutes away. You want me to see if I can get it live, or you okay with it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Where do you have it sitting in your show? Okay. I'm trying to yell at you live. They're like, toss it back. I'm like, look, the chief's coming. They're like, well, if he comes. Thank you, sir. I think you guys.
We're on at 9.
Top of 9, yep. They're gonna have a voice act going. Yeah. I said, was that going back on? Yeah. Take him to the hospital, discharged, and you're gonna put this up top. This one back on. I'll leave it off. Yeah. I'm assuming they're gonna want us to package it.
Who's going to be open?
Appreciate the time.
I'm just gonna grab a couple of shots.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
I'm gonna run to this 7-Eleven. Thank you, Chief. sorry, I just heard something. I was just checking in to see if she was nearby or the cop. Sitting up there again. I don't think so.
No, I'm gonna come back again.
I'm trying to steal your spot.
Yes, it's important. You're given in a meeting. Here we go. In this. Okay, yeah, going later. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Yep, absolutely. Right?
Washington Heights too. So that my daughter's 13. I'm from. Looks like they're going to probably have this open pretty soon. Let's take it out here. This is where it ended up. We could actually show you some video of the ambulance being pursued. It ended up here. They put out these strips. Man, you see being taken into custody. His name is William Person, 43 years old, from Temple Hills, Maryland. There's these stop strips with metal spikes that ended up deflating the tires. Doesn't explode them, crash them, whatever. Deflates the tires slowly. And I don't know about here. There's a Maryland State Police trooper We took the ambulance, bringing it to the stop here. Here now, Hank Stawinski.
Suspect. When we have him getting into the ambulance, fracture, getting into another ambulance, not the stolen ambulance.
Question?
No, I feel like I pulled something.
Oh, shit, don't have a heart attack on you.
That's like, you know, I don't feel like I'm... It's a really short range.
Jesus, Doug. You want someone to talk to you?
No, not yet. I'll give it a minute, see what happens.
How is your breathing?
No, it's fine. The breathing is fine.
Well, you had it up on your shoulder. I just don't want it to be a heart attack.
Yeah. I thought you were just sitting on my ass and felt this. I'd be a little more concerned.
Well, do you want to see if he'll open the door and let you sit down for a minute? Oh, it's good. All right, so you got me framed up? Yeah.
And there's no Annie. That's cool. And you should have the VO of the guy going past us, the guy getting arrested, hopefully some other stuff.
I'll use suspect video first.
We'll start here, and then you'll see that it looks like they're getting ready to clear it out here soon. Do you want me to get out of the lines? Like it looks like I'm kind of right in the middle of the line.
You are. Well, come just a hair forward. That's good.
Like that. I'm going to be in a double box off the top. Melanie and I, she on her story, me on mine. I can move if you need me to even more. It's all right?
Yeah, we're fine.
Cool. Okay, stand by. Stand by. You okay?
Yeah, it comes and it goes. It just feels like a muscle spasm kind of thing.
All right, stand by. Stand by. Yep. Thank you. What's that? All right, run in 2 minutes and then we're done. I promise you. Thank you. Tell them give us 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Here we go. Stand by. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, Wisdom, good morning to you. Yes, and the very latest is that Prince George's County Police are getting ready to reopen Allentown Road. They're actually telling us we need to clear out of the road here momentarily. This is where this slow speed pursuit of a stolen Prince George's County ambulance ended this morning, just after 7 o'clock. This was here on Allentown Road, just west of Branch Ave. The overpass you see there is Branch Avenue, and you can see State Highway and police are moving pretty quickly here to get ready to reopen this road. We have some video to show you because this scene we're seeing was down on Indian Head Highway. The ambulance was being pursued at this point back north up Indian Head Highway from Charles County. The ambulance was stolen just after 6 o'clock this morning at Prince George's Hospital Center by a patient, 43-year-old William Person from Temple Hills. And the ambulance was stolen. He drove it south on Indian Head Highway. As he reached the Charles County border there, the line, the county line, Charles County Sheriff's officials had put out stop strips with metal spikes, which deflated the tires of the ambulance, which then pulled a U-turn, headed back north into Prince George's County, eventually coming to a stop here on Allentown Road when a Maryland State Police trooper clipped the ambulance. We're not sure if he purposely clipped it or the ambulance clipped him, but that's when the ambulance came to a stop, and the driver, the man who allegedly stole the ambulance from Prince George's Hospital Center, was put on a gurney, shirtless, in cuffs, and into another ambulance to be taken back to the hospital for observation. Here now is Prince George's County Police Chief Hank Stawinski explaining how this ambulance came to be stolen.
Yeah, okay. We're good.
Now, the ambulance was from the Landover Hills Station, a county fire department ambulance. Nobody was inside of it. The crew and the patient they had brought to Prince George's Hospital Center were inside when the ambulance was stolen. Obviously, the keys were left in. Apparently, Mr. Person flipped on the lights and sirens as he began his pursuit. The good news is, guys, that during the pursuit and when it ended here on Allentown Road, a little after 7, nobody was hurt. We passed, and we were as part of that pursuit all the way up from near the Charles County line. There were school buses stopped at bus stops, and a lot of people on their morning commute, but nobody else was impacted until the state trooper was rammed here on Allentown Road. So nobody else hurt. Impacted in terms of the morning commute, yes, still traffic as they reopen Allentown Road this morning. Quite a wild and crazy ordeal here in Prince George's and in Charles County this morning, guys. Yeah, I mean, and this was miles later because, again, the stop strip with the metal spikes, which we're told deflate the tire. It doesn't explode or burst the tires, but deflates them over time for safety reasons. That was down at the Charles County line. This guy had come all the way up, back into Prince George's County, and then headed east on Allentown Road. And as we were following, we could smell the burning rubber, and we could see smoldering chunks of rubber on the road as we were, quarter mile, half mile behind the pursuit, which was going at a slow rate of speed as this guy kept shredding tire from the ambulance to the point where the ambulance was kind of like perched like this as he was commandeering the thing, going to who knows where. But Chief Stawinski said they wanted to make sure he did not get onto Branch Avenue, and that's why they basically pinned him in here. Oh, thank you. It was.
Sure, again, we're going to want to package all this stuff up. Did you pull the tape on some of our drive? We're done. Let's get settled in. Just wonder if I need to do a stand-up to see.
Well, you think about it. I'm going to grab a couple shots here.
Hey, so Max is going to do a video at 10. He says bring it back, the package and stuff it up. Maybe for the business stuff, all right? So we'll get that. Thank you. Doug, I'm just going to go down and see if by any chance the guys have one of those strip things. And I can do a stand. I can say, here's the strips, here's what they got. See if they'll be willing to do it.
It's a good idea.